Will you accept the results of the December elections, regardless of the outcome?
If on the election day there's widespread ballot snatching and beating of people and the military moving and intimidate people and shoot people and thugs are all over the place rampaging, you want me to accept that result? It will depend on the transparency and fairness of the process.
Now, you've been campaigning on the promise of implementing a 24-hour economy. Can you explain to us what that means?
It's simple. I mean, if you incentivize businesses to run longer than 8 hours, they can't run with the same number of people. They'll have to employ some more people. The demand is there. We have the African Continental Free Trade Area. We have the ETLS, ECOWAS Trade Liberalization Scheme.
How much will it cost your government to implement a 24-hour economy?
You can't put a cost on it immediately. 24-hour economy is not an event. It's a process. And so even while we're stabilizing the macroeconomic environment and bringing inflation down, bringing interest rates down, we'll be implementing the 24-hour economy. You are thinking about it as if we'll wake up overnight soon as I'm sworn in, a 24-hour economy.
Will you be able to do that in 4 years?
We will start, at least.
So your 24-hour economy then is a gamble?
It's not a gamble. Why would it be a gamble? 24-hour economy is not a new concept. It's been implemented in Sydney. It's been implemented in UK. It's been
these are
implemented
bigger economies.
in Singapore.
You can't compare Sydney,
but
Singapore
they started somewhere.
to Ghana.
They started somewhere.
You have 4 years. Will you be able to implement that?
4 years, is that the end of Ghana? So after 4 years, that's it.
A new government comes in
and says we don't want 24-hour economy.
It's possible?
Well, that's Ghana's loss.
Ghana is among the few African countries to pass draconian anti-LGBT legislation, widely condemned by human rights groups. Will you sign it into law if it is brought before you?
It's not an anti-LGBT, it is a family values bill. It was approved unanimously by our parliament. You see, it's against our culture, African culture. It's against our religious faith, Muslim and all that. But I think that we must look at the bill, and the president must indicate what he finds wrong with that bill and send the bill back to Parliament. Or alternatively, he must send it to the Council of State and get the Council of State's advice.
Is that what you would have done?
That's what I would have done.
And will you ever sign an anti-LGBT bill?
It depends on what is in the bill.
Corruption is a very big problem in Ghana. You partly lost the 2016 elections due to the perception of corruption. Now, several allegations of corruption have been leveled against this government, including mismanagement of public funds, theft, and asset stripping. Are there any specific cases that you will be investigating if you win this election?
Every year, the Auditor General's report says that 15 billion was not properly accounted for and all that. If we can get a special court to implement the Auditor General's reports and hold people accountable, it will help us to reduce the amount of malfeasance that is taking place here.
When you were in government, you failed to address or find a sustainable solution to illegal mining. This government has also failed, and now the situation has worsened. About 60% of Ghana's water bodies have been polluted. What will you do differently this time to address the problem?
First, we're going to stop mining in forest reserves. Then secondly, stop mining on the water bodies. You dig a leach pad where all the wastewater you're using will go in, and the water is held in the leach pad. We're going to hold the owners of the concession to account.
Will you continue with the prosecution of the anti-illegal mining protesters if you win the election?
To be remanded into custody for 2 weeks because of going on a protest, I think was high-handed, because they were raising attention to an issue that is of grave concern to all of us. And because of their protests, government brought an ally to Parliament to reverse mining in forest reserves. So their protests achieved something. And so if I come, I'll let the Attorney General, file a nolle prosequi and stop their prosecution.